Good evening. Just for a change of pace, I thought we'd have a go at a transistor radio. I don't normally do transistors because I don't know anything about them. I know less about them than I know about valve radios. This is a Consort by H.M.V, or his master's voice, and it's got a little nipper down there. I was particularly looking for one of these for a while because my mum and dad had one back in, I think they bought about 64, and we took it on a trailer holiday, a caravan holiday with us. And they're not so hard to get, but they're hard to get in very good condition. So normally this grill is dented, the gold is corroded right through and it's just bubbled away. This one's got a layer of corrosion on it, but I think, or whatever it is, and I think it'll come off. I reckon I can just about polish that off without going through the gold. It's got a leatherette back on it. Battery, I think external aerial there. It's got a loop stick inside for antenna, but nice looking radio. And my mum used this for, well, I don't know, well into the 90s, and to the point the only reason she stopped using it is because she couldn't get the batteries, so they stopped making the particular battery this uses. So I have no idea if it works. I bought it on Gumtree, I think. I know it might have been Facebook Trader, and whatever it's called. And it was in Melbourne, which is quite a ways from here. So my brother-in-law picked it up and very kindly sent it to me. So I'll have a look inside. I haven't looked inside one of these for, well, since I last changed the battery, which is back in the 80s somewhere, late 90s or the early 90s. I mean. It's just a matter of removing the two thumb screws. I think they're captive or something. Nope, they're not. I think they were supposed to be captive. Okay, so there it is. Well, there's the battery connector. They were a square battery. I'll have to find out. No, they were 9 volts. I know they were 9 volts. They were a square battery. I know you can't buy them anymore, so I might have to make up maybe a battery pack of some sort using, probably wouldn't use 9 volt, maybe double A's or something in a little holder. I'll have to see how we go, because it may not even work, so that'll be the end of that. Looks nice. It's it's nice and clean in there, very nice. Loop stick antenna, just got the one circuit board there. Pretty large speaker for the size of the unit, so they always sounded good. Nice die-cast front on it. It's always sounded very nice, actually. So the tuning dial works. So on-off switch. All right, there's a tone control. I forgot about that. Just going to quickly look over the solders just to make sure there's no obvious cracks or dry solders. So just give me a tick. Alright, I can't see anything. They all look very good. Very good. Nice. They're nice big leads. Small holes, and the solders are good. I don't see any reason why I wouldn't put some power on it. Doesn't look like it's ever been touched, you know. Doesn't look. So this probably hasn't run since whenever they stopped making batteries, which I can't remember what it was. My soldering iron's got a little DC power output up to 30 volts, so I'll just set that. We should be able to use that. I'll put a couple of leads in there, so it's 9 volts. 9 volts. 9.1 wouldn't matter. I'll just clip the leads on the right way around. I hope, yeah, positive to positive. That's okay, and I've got that connected correctly at the soldering station. So I'll just put on. So I'll just put it on, and I set it to 9. So hopefully it goes back to 9. Okay. Not hearing anything at all. Some sort of noise there. Tell you what, I need an aerial. put it in the. I've only got one. I've only got one aerial. Like, I haven't got an earth, I mean, and this of course goes on a loop stick. Probably needs an earth. Use me as an earth? No, it doesn't work. So that's on full volume at the moment. Doesn't sound too good. The stations, nope. All the stations should be down there somewhere. Oh, it's not working. Hello, something. Oh, that's me. Oh, God. I'll turn it down a bit. Right, so that's coming out of the IF transformer there, so well, you would think the amp's working. Try the air, so I can't even wrap it. Well, I can, I suppose. No, it's nothing. Sounds like it's trying to receive. Like it's. It's dead. There's nothing coming out of the aerial. That's the wrong part. Hang on. Hang on. Let's see that. So that's the aerial. Shimmy. That one might be the oscillator, I guess. That's actually, hang on, that's picking up something there.
And then across the line.
Yeah, I am. I'm definitely grateful for this opportunity.
And the winding road.
Ah, so it's there. So it likes that. So it's not picking it up off this wire here. What's it doing? As I said, I don't really understand how these radios work. I've got a fair idea on the valve ones, but these are the same principle, of course. But
the road users. Someone let
oh, okay. So what do we got there? Hang on, that's an earth. That's just going back to the ground. Yeah. So that's the that square there is the first IF, or I'm not sure what it is. I don't know what. It's coming straight in. It must be an IF before the. I don't know how it works. So that was earth. That's earth or ground or chassis. So those three go into chassis. There's a transistor there. It's got 4 legs. And these are germanium transistors, so they're not very reliable. Certainly not now. They were the forerunner of silicon transistors, of course, which we use now. So that's coming off that green wire. That's one of the legs of the transistor. So that one there, that one must be the screen then. So So that'll be coming, that'll be the base, I assume. Oh, God. Oh, hang on.
Tell it your way with Microsoft Photos. Love new tech deals. Find
So if that's that must be the emitter then. That'll be the collector. That'll be the emitter, I assume. Wish I knew more about these. Okay, so that would mean, so the signal's going, so I'm just feeding the signal straight in.
201.
The transformer's alright then, because it's getting, I don't know which, doesn't matter which pin I put it on, it's the signal's getting through, so that transformer's okay. So up to here, from the radio this way, is okay. So the issue is somewhere between the capacitor this time, the tuning capacitor, and that transformer, I suppose, because that's working really well.
junk. I was told you could make us feel better. You're suffering from...
So it's almost as though the antenna's not working. Okay, so I'm going to say it's that transistor or somewhere where, no, see, that's got to be the top side of it. So that'll be a lower voltage than that. So however that gets back to ground could be an issue. I mean, this thing runs on no voltage, so a lot of these components just don't fail. The transistors are dicey in this. They get some sort of fuzz on them or something, some metal fuzz that grows, and that shorts out the transistor inside. Just hang on a tick. Alright, well, I've managed to find a schematic, which I didn't think. I just put in HMV Consort, and it came up, so I don't know, I didn't think I'd get one of these. So I haven't done a lot of work with transistors lately. So there's our antenna, there's a loop stick here, and that's where the signal's not getting through this transistor. The signal is, if I feed the signal in here, it works. The signal goes off to wherever it goes off to. If I feed it in here, yeah, so it's not, so it's going back through a, no, look, I can't follow these things. It's a totally different logic to what I'm used to now. But what I can do is I can measure that voltage there, so it's -5, that's -43, that's minus, no, that can't be right. Hang on, let's zoom in. Where do you, no, it's -0.43, that's more like it, -0.22, so that's -5. Okay, so we've got -0.43 on the base, -5 on that collector there, which was on the transformer, and 0.22 on the emitter there. Now I just got to remember that was the base. Oh, there you go. 0.005 volts DC minus. And that was supposed to be forgotten. I'll have to go and have a look again. This was supposed to be 5, I think. No, it's 7.41. So that's too high. That'll be ground. That'll be screen. That'll be 0. Okay, this will be the emitter. Okay, so the fact, I would say that's high. So it's not, the power's not getting drained through here. So I would suggest that transistor's not working. So I said we can insert the signal here and it'll work. the whole radio will work. So I would say the blockage is that transistor there. So now I've got to find one. I do have a transistor tester outside. I wonder if I could test it. Alright, let's try and get this out. That was easy. So this transistor's got 4 legs, but one's just the shield, which are the base. So collector, base, emitter, and that's the shield. Well, I dug out my old Macronta dynamic transistor check. Oh, I could have checked that in circuit. Oh. So requires an AA battery. I'll have to put a battery in it. So I haven't used that for how long, and I don't even know how do you do it. So I've got to work out if it's a PNP, NPN, or what it is. What's that do? Oh, that's right. You measure the base current. So that's the base. That's the collector for sure. So that's got to be the emitter, because that's the. Okay, so it's a PNP. I noticed on the schematic. So what do you do? Oh, do you turn it up? I think the light comes on when you get to its base current control. Well, clearly that's not working. From what I remember, the light used to come on either to tell you that you didn't. I'm not sure. The light should come on. So I'm assuming that doesn't work. I just noticed on the schematic there's another one here which is exactly the same transistor. OC170. So I could swap them over. I measured that just before I took the other transistor out. I measured that and all the voltages on that were correct. Had 5.44, whatever they were. So I wonder if I might swap them over. That would tell for sure, wouldn't it? And there it is there. So it's collector, shield, base, emitter, which is exactly the same as that one. So that should just swap straight over. You can just see the numbers on the board there, so I'm not guessing. I'm probably doing something wrong, and someone's watching this going, you're doing that wrong, I wouldn't do that. Maybe I'll end up with 2 broken transistors. Now I've put the 9 volts on again. Okay, I've switched 9 volts on, so we've got 9 volts on. The radio's on full power. There we go. Now where's the aerial? Hang on. Sorry. So there's the aerial. Nothing. Nothing at all. Alright. So it's as I thought. That's if that transistor is crooked, it's not letting it through. So we had 7 volts here before. It should be 5. What have we got? 3.5. Have we got something there? Yes, we have 0.31. And the base should have 0.5 or something. Yeah, 0.59. Okay, so they're not right, but at least it's something. So that to me says that transistor's no good, because these voltages have come up, so something's working there. This may be affecting the voltages here now. Whatever, that transistor's no good. If there's something else wrong, that's going to come later, but I need to get that out and replace that. So the shot's going to be trying to find a transistor. So at this point I'm going to leave it. I'll have to find a transistor or an alternative. I don't think you can. You can't generally fit silicon transistors in where the germanium ones were. Germanium ones. Well, I'll see if I can find some. Well, I had a good night's sleep and thought I should have tested the good transistor in my transistor checker. one thing that would check the transistor checker and also verify that transistor works, which I'm pretty sure it does. So I've just connected it up there with the leads. It's a PNP, and what I remember now is that you turn that knob on the transistor checker until the light goes out, and that is the base control current. The other thing I could do, and I should have done last night, is I've put a clip on the shield of the transistor, and I'm just checking with a multimeter, and this is the bad transistor here, and it's showing continuity between the shield and the 3 pins. I don't know which one it's shorting to, but it's shorting to one of them. Of course, they're all connected in one way or another. A suggestion on the Google was to just pull back the shield and refit the transistor and see if that works. I've done that there. So I've got transistors back where they used to be. That didn't fix anything. It's exactly the same, and I didn't expect anything else. Another suggestion was to bang the bottom of the transistor to try and shock it into working. Another suggestion was to heat it with the reflow gun and somehow reset it, but that didn't work so well. There you go. So that's the end of that transistor, or that was the end of it before I started. Okay, so there's what's left of our to a rather spectacular end. You can see the screen pin there is connected straight to the outside of the transistor. So somehow that was managing to conduct across to the other parts of the components of the transistor and cause a short. So I'll just show you what was in the tin, in the can. I can't see any whiskers in there. They must be in there. They must be in there because it was shorting to the shield to the other components. So I guess they're in there somewhere. Might need a microscope to see it. Well, it's been nearly a week now, but I've managed to get a OC170 transistor, and it tests okay. So a very nice gentleman in Western Australia mailed that out to me. Actually mailed about 5 of them out. There's only 3 of these ones, and only this one was the only one that wasn't shorted out inside. So the other ones may work if I lift the case leg off out of the circuit. But this one works, so I'm going to try that. I started checking some of the capacitors in here, and most of them are out of tolerance. So I've changed a couple, and I'm just going to do the rest of them before I put the transistor in, and hopefully that'll return the voltages to what they should have been. So just give me 5 minutes and I'll do that. Then we'll try the new transistor and see how it goes. Alright, time to fit our new transistor here. There you go. It was easy. Put a blob of solder in there. I noticed the pads lifted on that one, so I'll run a little jumper across there a bit later on. Okay, everything's back together. Caps are changed. I got the new transistor in, as we just saw. I've connected the 9 volts off my soldering iron station up there. So give it a go. I haven't got an aerial. It's got an inbuilt aerial, but signals in here don't work very well. So I've just got one there at the ready. We'll see what happens. Just lay it out there. That may be enough. Alright, 9 volts coming on. Oh, there it is there. It's working already.
They won't some sort of...
They'll probably find out in the next week or two when they ask their employer for a payment summary and they get told that they don't get one. Then they'll have to find out that they'll go through MyGov and pick it up through there.
That's a trap.
It is a trap, yeah. So that's the downside to that change with a single touch payroll. The main drive behind the system is that you'll be able to see your pay data week by week.
Well, it's not working very well in here. It's we're in a steel framed home with a steel roof. It's like a Faraday cage in here. So the aerial doesn't seem to do much. I'll have to investigate that. I'll take it outside where it will work. If it's going to work, it'll work properly outside. But that's pretty good. Yeah, happy with that. I actually got that transistor for nothing. I need to check the little voltages in there, don't I? So I better do that. Alright, let's check it. Got the base that's there. That should have been 5. 5, well, that'll do. This was, what was supposed to be, I can't remember what it was supposed to be, 0.6 or something, and one was 0.44. That's the screen. 0.319. I'll call that 4. I'm calling those good. That's perfect. They're terrific. So probably changing those capacitors help with that. Maybe. I'll do a quick check of the alignment, and it's about all I think I need to do. I doubt very much the alignment's out, but all I'll do is run the signal generator through it and make sure it's 440, 455, and if that's all right and the stations line up, I might just fine tune the antenna, whichever one it is of these ones, trimmers, just to get the maximum. But if the spacing on the aerial is great, then I'm not going to worry. Yeah, my initial idea that it would be pretty close to spot on frequency wise for the IFs is not correct. I've set it, I've adjusted it for maximum response, and it's about 461, so I need to adjust those IF cans. So here's the IF cans. I've put a sheet of cardboard behind to make sure the circuit board doesn't short or anything, and I'll just adjust that for maximum response. I'll just scan through again and see how close we get. So that's come out at 4055 and a half, so let's call it quits there. Okay, so according to the little sticker inside the back of the case, we're supposed to tune this at 600 and 1500, or check the dial at least, so I'll just turn the volume up there. I'll put my signal generator on 600, we'll see how we go. Here she comes. Well, I'd say that's exactly 600. I've got the dial on 600. Luckily it's got it's actually got the frequency on there. Alright, so the next one is 1500, which I'll wind it up there. And that's spot on 1500 there. So I'll just turn it down a bit actually. Select a new range. Go to 1500. So it says 1506. I'm not going to worry about that. Wouldn't even be a needle width. Yeah, it's about half a needle width out. So that's it. I'm not touching it anymore. I'm going to say that's pretty much done. I don't think I need to do anything else. What I am going to do is going to try and reproduce a battery, it's the original Eveready battery or whatever brand it happened to be, but we always had Eveready. So I'm going to try and make one out of some double A's in a holder, and make it look like a real battery if I can. Not that anyone can see it unless they take the back off, but yeah, something to do, isn't it? Now that my transistor radio is working, I need a battery, and I thought I might try and create a faux battery. They're an Eveready 276P. That's the batteries we used to use in Australia anyway. There are other battery brands around, of course. So what I'm going to do is cut out a bit of cardboard. This coffee capsule box happens to be about the right size. It's too high, so I'm going to cut it down to the right height. I was going to use one of these battery holders that holds 6 AA batteries. I've got 2 of these, so I might even back them and just to fill the space more than anything. I don't know if I want to put 12 batteries in it, but it'll work on either 6 or 12. That's the plug that goes in the top of the Australian version of this battery, and I've got a socket, but it's the gaps it's not the right gap, so I need to demount these, and I'll remount them in another bit of mica and get the right dimension, and then that'll sit on top of the box, and you'll be able to plug the battery right into it, or the lead right into it. Now I've already mucked one up, so I'm using that one as a template to cut out the one below instead of marking it all out again. So I'm just going to try and do it all again without mucking it up this time. So there it is. So that's dimensionally about right, I hope. And I've just got to glue it all back together again. I've got to cut a circle in here, and then the contacts will show through there. And those 2 battery packs will fit in there quite easily. So plenty of room. No worries. It's a good one. I'm just going to lay it out flat. I'm going to go on use my computer to generate the Eveready trademarks and the writing that goes on there. Then I'll just put it on here, glue it on, and cut it back out again, and glue it all back together, and it'll be done. Here's my printed sheet with the Eveready logos and whatever on it. So I'm just going to glue it on top of here, and then we can cut it out. There it is. It's all glued up and dried. It's been drying overnight, so it's quite dry. It wants to curl. So anyway, that won't matter once I fold it. So I had to cut some of it as I glued it to let it sit properly. I think the paper expanded a bit. Well, there it is. It's all cut out. Looks alright. Now I just got to cut a hole up the top there to fit the socket in. So the original battery had a hole. I'm using my circle cutter, and I'm going to cut a 1-inch hole. Now the reason it's 1 inch is because that's the smallest the circle cutter goes to, so that'll be fine. And there you go, perfect circle. Just need to refold along all the seams there, bring it together. There it is, all finished. Looks good. I've got to go and make the innards now, so but the box looks good, and I'll just glue all the seams back together. So yeah, quite happy with that. I think I've got everything I need. I've got a little battery box, there's sockets, 2 AA battery holders, and some mica sheet. So I've just sort of done a rough sketch here. That's the mica sheet on the top with 2 holes in it. I'll put the socket in behind that. These will be 2 little bits of wood to make up the space, and there's the 2 battery holders underneath. So that's basically it. That should slide back into the battery box. I think the first thing I'll do is cut some mica out to make the top. That's about it. I'm not going to do any more than that. I've got to attach the wires to the sockets. I've hinged the battery holders so I can get to both sides of the batteries to replace them. So that's come out alright. And let's see if it fits, I suppose. Yeah, so the wires are going to be in the way there. You get the idea. I've loaded one of the holders with batteries, and I won't do the other one. There is an issue with paralleling dry cell batteries, and they tend to self-discharge, so I'll just leave it at one at the moment. Alright, let's put it in the little pack. There we go. I'll just make sure it's the correct polarity. I'm sure it is. And 9.5, yeah, that's correct. Okay. And there we go. Alright, now hopefully that sits in. Let's put his little cover on. Well, there it is, it's all done. Consort by His Master's Voice, from my childhood, or similar radio to this one. That didn't take too much getting going. It had a problem with the transistor, and some friendly people from the one of the radio groups sent me a free one all the way from Western Australia, so that was great. Made a little battery for it, looks good, and it's come up a treat, so very happy with that, and I think I'll probably be able to use that and go on picnics and things. We generally take a radio, so it might be this one. Well, thanks for watching, and hope you enjoyed that one. I'm not into transistors, I'm not all that confident working with them, but managed to work my way through this one. If you like that, please leave a like and comment if you think you can got something to contribute, or just tell me off, or whatever you think. It's just happy to get any sort of comments. And if you can, subscribe, and I'd love to have you join up. Thank you very much.